Life is stressful. That's just the bottom line. Life is really stressful. First of all, everyone just emerged from a global pandemic, which was incredibly stressful for everyone. There's stress and kind of what's going on in the world, all the wars being fought, politics. There's just a lot of stress. And basically, burnout stems largely from chronic stress, especially in the work we do in the world. So when we're experiencing a lot of stress and we don't have the resources available to meet that stress, we become burned out. And burnout actually has three main faces, you might say. One, the most obvious, is just exhaustion. We become tired, we're exhausted, we don't even want to get out of bed to face all the stress we have in our lives. The second one is interesting. The fancy term for it is depersonalization, which basically means we start caring a little bit less. We start caring a little bit less about the work we do in the world, perhaps, or maybe ourselves, or maybe other people, just because it hurts to care. So one of the ways we cope with this stress is by shutting down a little bit, becoming a little numb to ourselves and to life. And then the third one is feelings of incompetence. In other words, we blame ourselves, we judge ourselves for being so stressed and not being able to do our work in the world. And then we just feel less confident in our ability to get things done. And so one of the things the book talks about is how self-compassion can really address the core symptoms of burnout. Everything we write really comes from our personal experience. For me, especially during the pandemic, what had happened is, the school shut down, and I have a son who was a teenager at the time, and he's got autism, so a special needs son. So when he switched from online at school to being at home, that was super stressful. And then also the main way I earned my income, which is by traveling around the world giving self-compassion workshops, that wasn't available anymore. So basically everything changed, and I felt myself teeter on the edge of burnout. That overwhelming stress was starting to feel overwhelming. But the big difference is because I had my long-standing self-compassion practice, it's like the stress wave was arising, but my self-compassion practice arose to meet that stress so that I didn't become burned out. And so one of the reasons we wrote this book was to try to, share the wisdom of self-compassion with other people in a similar situation. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, well, I like the word teetering on the edge of burnout. I think probably I was a little more in burnout than teetering on the edge. But for me, burnout occurred also during the pandemic because my values shifted during the pandemic. I also turned 70 years old during that time, and my heart was just not in the work anymore. I was thinking, how long are you going to do this, Chris? But self-compassion gave me the conviction and the courage to change the way I was working, especially permission to meditate as long as I wanted in the morning. And that's what I'm still doing now. And mostly I'm still doing the same work, but I'm enjoying it a whole lot more. And I think my wife would even say that I'm a little happier.